ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ನಾಗರಾಜು. ನಾವು ಜಕ್ಕೂರು. ನಮ್ಮ ತಾತ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲೇ, ನಾವು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲೇ. 500 ಮನೆ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಕ್ಕೂರಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ಜಕ್ಕೂರು ಸಂಕೇಳ್ಳಿ ಕೆರೆ ಅಂತ.
Jakkur resident Nagaraju talks about a time when Bengaluru largely consisted of several village clusters, each with a separate water tank for its use. As the city grew into an urban landscape, the villages slowly disappeared. And when the demand for water became critical, the Kaveri River was channeled. Once a lifeline for Bengaluru, the city's lakes were now no longer considered as crucial, setting off a saga of neglect that continues to plague its citizens.
ಈಗ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ವಸತಿ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ. ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಲೇಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಲೇಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಕೊಚ್ಚೆ ನೀರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆರೆಗೆ ಇರ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಕೆರೆನೇ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಚ್ಚಾಕ್ತವ್ರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ದೋ, ಈ ಕೆರೆ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಗೆ, ಇದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರಿಸರಕ್ಕೆ ನೀರು ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೆರೆ ಆಳ ಮಾಡಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ಕೆರೆಗಳು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗವೆ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ಮೋರಿ ನೀರು ಹರಿದು ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನ ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ಲೀನಾಗಿ ಇಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲ ಜನಗಳ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ.
These are the disappearing lakes of Bengaluru, a story of degeneration that has been making headlines around the world. Dr. Priyanka Jamwal, Senior Fellow from the Ashoka Trust for Research, gives us an understanding of how things went so wrong with Bengaluru's lakes.
Now the water supply infrastructure developed, but what happened is that wastewater treatment infrastructure did not develop at the same pace. As a result, stormwater drains, which were carrying historically only rainwater, started receiving untreated wastewater. And this untreated wastewater started flowing into these lakes. And as a result, we saw black water in the lakes, like dead fish floating on the lakes. And 2 years back, we saw Belandur Lake catching fire, which was I don't think as a society we can go beyond this kind of event. Like, we have destructed our environment to such an extent that the lake itself has caused lake itself is on fire.
In March 2021, we witnessed once again the horrific visuals of the largest lake in the city engulfed in flames. 6 years since the first fire, close to 600 million litres of sewage was still flowing into the Belandur Lake every day, of which 100 million litres was untreated. A report from EMPRI, the Environment Management and Policy Research Institute, further revealed that the wastewater being used to grow vegetables carried high concentrations of heavy metals, higher than safety limits set by the Food and Agriculture Organization. For the report, samples had been collected from 20 stores across the city, including high-end supermarkets, organic stores, local markets, and Hopcoms. Between 2018 and 2021, Dr. T.V. Ramachandra from the Indian Institute of Science designed and conceptualized an experiment to test how Bengaluru's polluted lakes were affecting its food chain. Samples of fish and vegetables growing downstream from the Vartur and Belandur lakes were collected and tested.
We collected a fish sample, then the vegetable that is grown in the downstream of the lakes, and the other this one fish, etc. The milk. Okay, when we analyzed all this, the food constituents of the food had heavy metal. Heavy metal in the food chain is a serious concern. That is where it gives the way for issues like cancer, kidney failure, etc. Kidney failure, which was 1 in 1 lakh about 12 years back, today is 1 in 5,000. And the other serious thing is, because we have loaded the lake with the nitrogen, as it moves towards the groundwater, the nitrates are formed. Nitrate is a carcinogen, which introduces cancer in the system. This is what the people in the immediate vicinity are they affected with the the nitrogen, the nitrate contamination.
ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಕಡೆ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊ 2 ಇವಾಗ ತೆಗ್ದಿದ್ದೊಂದು 3
Realizing the urgent need for consolidated action, Bengaluru has been witnessing a spate of citizen groups taking up the cudgels for reviving their city's lakes. Anand Maligavad is one of them. Using a series of lagoons and floating waterbeds, Anand's method relies on nature's own processes to break down contaminants.
Basically, process of lake rejuvenation is, we work from reach to river concept. All cascading lakes we rejuvenate. There are 3 types of lakes. One is dry dead, one is filled with sewage, one is natural head. So dry dead lake, lot of changes in the topography, catchment area, alteration, and lot of nalas has been destroyed. We open up the nala, see that water will enter into the lake. And there will not be water holding capacity. It was filled with silt, all lot of debris, waste and all. We remove everything. We create a one strengthening and we create a lagoons for filtration and all.
When it comes to sewage lakes, Anand works to separate grey water from rainwater by diverting the former into canals.
I am separating grey water, I am separating rainwater. So that rainwater will percolate good water. It create a microclimate. Bees, butterflies, birds, animals, people can swim in it up to that level. Maybe I cannot climb that A class, I can climb B class. And in the grey water, natural biological sewage treatment without STP, chemical, steel structure or anything. We naturally treat and use same water maximum there and rest through the canal, interconnected cascading, they go to next lake. Like that, each lake I am trying to rejuvenate 85% of the rainwater lake, 15% of the grey water lake.
While natural treatment processes have their benefits, Dr. Jamwal points out why one shouldn't rely solely on them.
We should first invest in grey water treatment. Now people say, oh, let us have constructed wetland, let us put sedimentation tank and it will take care of sewage. No. To address pollution coming from wastewater, we need to have these wastewater treatment plants. Nature-based solutions, plants, they are supplementary to these systems. They themselves are not sufficient.
Wastewater treatment plants are expensive, perhaps one of the reasons why installing them widely has been a challenge. This is the 160-acre Jakur Lake. What we see now is a result of a rejuvenation model that is said to have set an example for the rest of the city. Dr. Ramachandra, the man behind it, explains how integrating constructed wetlands, algal ponds and a secondary treatment plant helped them achieve a system that was holistic and affordable.
What we did was we integrated constructed wetland and algal pond with the secondary treatment plant. So that from the secondary treatment plant, after removing the chemical ion, when it passes to the constructed wetland, it removes the N, major part of N and some part of P. While when it passes to the algal pond, it removes the major part of P and small part of N.
Jakur Lake rejuvenation was taken up by the Bengaluru Development Authority and is now managed by Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike, a civic body, and the citizen group Jal Poshan Trust. The lake currently supports livelihoods for 70 fishermen families, those who have been central to its upkeep.
The beauty in Jakur is, we have the entire community, like we have the grass cutters, we have the fishermen, we have the home guards, we have the local self-help groups. So we have many things happening at the lake. So it's like a bigger connect of the community where every stakeholder is somehow involved. And finally, the convergence is conservation. Everybody wants to conserve this lake. So that's the beauty about the Jakur model.
Water from this lake is now used for groundwater recharge and ecosystem services. Sampath Gowda, a grass cutter and part of the Jal Poshan Trust, confesses to our reporter that regular cleaning is the only way to ensure it doesn't go back to the dismal state it was in.
ನಾವು ಒಂದು 30 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಆವಾಗ ಹೊಲಗಳು ಗದ್ದೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ವು. ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ರೋಡು ಅಂತೆ ಅವಂತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲೀನಾಗಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡೆಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ, ಮೊದಲಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇವಾಗ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಗಲೀಜು ನೀರು ಯಾವುದೂ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರೋದು. ಈ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ನೀರು ಅಂಥದ್ದು ಯಾವುದೂ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಉಳ್ಕೊಯ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿರೋ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದೇ ಅವಾಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಬಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ನೀರು ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡುತ್ತೋ ಅವಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಾಸನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು ಹಸು ಉಳ್ಕೊಯ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹುಲ್ಲು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಆಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಣಗಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹಸುಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಿ, ಅದೇನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು.
While rejuvenation has helped revive livelihoods, water from Jakkur is not drinkable because it is treated. Perhaps it will still take some time before it improves to potable quality. But at the very least, the Jakkur model serves as a much-needed work in progress for the city.
ಕೊಳಚೆ ನೀರು ಬಂದು ಈ ಜಲಚರ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಪಕ್ಷಿ ತಜ್ಞರು ಒಂದು 250-300 ಪಕ್ಷಿ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಈಗ ಪಕ್ಷಿಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೈತೆ. ಇದೇ ನೀರು ನಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯವಸಾಯದ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಬೋರ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನು ಸಾಲ್ಟು ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಬಳಕೆಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ಕೆರೆ ನೀರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸರಿ ವಾಸನೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಕೆರೆ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಸರಿ, ಡೀಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಸರಿ, ಆಳ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಸರಿ, ಅಲಂಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ, ಶುದ್ಧವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೀರು ಅಷ್ಟು.
Of the 31 sewage treatment plants in Bengaluru, only 8 are reportedly monitored scientifically for wastewater treatment. Contaminated food continues to be a matter of concern since untreated wastewater is still being used for farming in the state.
Thanks for watching Eco India. If you like the story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Scroll.in on YouTube.